Welcome to Daily Variety, your daily dose of news and analysis for entertainment industry insiders. It's Thursday, August 6th, 2026. I'm your host, Cynthia Littleton. I am co-editor-in-chief of Variety alongside Ramin Satuda. I'm in LA, he's in New York, and Variety has reporters around the world covering the business of entertainment. On today's episode, we'll hear from Variety's Corbin Bolus, who has been in Las Vegas all week covering the AI4 conference. It's a huge gathering at the Venetian Hotel with a slew of top AI leaders. Bolus is there moderating panels and taking the pulse of the technology movement that is upending our lives in so many ways. But before we get to all of that, here are a few headlines just in this morning that you need to know. The UK has given the green light to the Paramount-Warner Brothers Discovery merger. That's a win for the David Ellison column. It certainly makes the antitrust case that has been filed in the US stand out even more. The UK Competition and Markets Authority studied the marketplace and determined that the enlarged Parabros would still have plenty of competitors in feature films, plenty of competition for subscription streaming, and for children's programming, which were the focus of the UK inquiry. Much more to come on this subject. There is so much anticipation for the release of Grand Theft Auto 6 in November that Rockstar Games this morning announced the release date of its latest extended-look trailer. The new footage will debut exclusively on Netflix at 3 p.m. Eastern on August 27th, before being added to YouTube 6 hours later. The great Isabella Rossellini charmed the audience at the Locarno Film Festival on Wednesday with a wide-ranging discussion of her career, including her short film series Green Porno and other short-form content series that Rossellini has done to indulge her many interests in animals, cooking, and other subjects. She is a true Renaissance woman. My colleague Marta Balaga has the story out of Switzerland. All of these stories and so much more can be found on Variety.com right now. And now it's time for conversations with Variety journalists about news and trends in show business. Corbin Bolus, Variety's AI beat reporter, has been taking in the AI4 conference this week in Sin City, or should we call it Synthetic City? Corbin Bolus, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Cynthia.
Well, you are knee-deep on day 2 of a 3-day conference in Las Vegas where the temperature is very hot. Corbin, one of the reasons you're there is you did a one-on-one session with filmmaker Scott Mann, who is a filmmaker, but he's also really been exploring the outer edge of what AI can do for the content business. Let me start by asking you, what did you learn from sitting down with Scott Mann, who runs a company called Flawless?
Scott and I spoke about what AI's impact on Hollywood has been and just how people can navigate this conversation in a way that sort of amplifies filmmaking and creativity while keeping humans at the forefront in this era of AI slop. You have Hollywood studios and creatives afraid of just what AI's impact on the industry can be, from both the models that are trained and scraping their copywritten work to generated content that people fear may take the place of traditional films and traditional TV shows. So Scott, who runs this company that develops AI tools for filmmakers to help with dubbing and when films move across the world into different languages, to help easing up the post-production process to make films cheaper, preventing costly reshoots. He doesn't really work in the generative space, but he understands, as he told our audience yesterday, just what that fear is. When people hear the word AI, their first thoughts are the extremes. And Scott's hoping that Flawless and other filmmakers who are working in the same space as him can break through that noise and show that AI can be additive to Hollywood and helpful, while keeping humans and creatives working in partnership with them and guilds like SAG-AFTRA, which has boosted Flawless's work. Working with them can create a better future that brings film costs down, ramps up the production of original stories, and maintains the traditional foundations that are there within Hollywood.
Is Flawless a studio unto itself, or is it more like he's a consulting with other artists?
So Flawless is a company that develops its own technology that studios can work with and use on their productions. He isn't working within a single studio. He isn't doing this out of his garage. This is a company that he co-founded that studios can work with and license their technology to help their productions while saving some costs.
It's fascinating to see who is flocking to it and who is absolutely like putting up the guardrails and saying no. People will boo the mention of AI at film festivals. So it's definitely a lightning rod issue and will be for a while. Did you see anything from Flawless that really impressed you in terms of content creation, image capture that just would have been utterly prohibitive in a more traditional sense?
Well, an example that Scott brought up on our stage was how Flawless's technology can really help, particularly in the rating system for Hollywood. As we know, there are only so many curse words we can say before the MPA slaps an R rating to a film. And something that Flawless's technology can help do is dub over lines that may use an F word a voluminous amount of times to swap that out with a freaking or something that keeps the creator's intent. They're still telling the same story. We've seen clean versions of songs produced all the time. This still preserves the intent there, but it does it in a quicker and more efficient way versus reshooting all those lines, which takes more time, more usage of cameras, and therefore more costs.
Let me step back and ask you, what have been some of the buzzy topics? What are you hearing in the hallways between sessions?
I took a walk through the exhibition hall that they have here, where there are a plethora of companies that are showcasing what their technologies can do. And what it really emphasized to me is just almost every industry felt represented there. I mean, seeing how agentic AI can impact the pharmaceutical industry, to the legal industry, to cybersecurity, I was talking to one company that wanted to add non-human players to video games. I asked him, when did your company launch? He said, yesterday. And it shows that there are people who are really trying to break into this space to really showcase how AI is ever present. It isn't something that feels like is going to go away or be as much of a fad as the era of NFTs were. But what I think we're all trying to figure out now is, particularly as we're listening to people speak on stages and at the keynotes here, is just what is the best use case in a way that protects humans, that keeps humans in the forefront, and that is developed with intention by humans as additive versus as an element to replace them.
This conference is beyond entertainment. This is AI in all aspects. Is there anything that you've seen that really impressed you as, oh my God, this is mind-blowing?
What I'm really fascinated by is just this wave of robotics. I've spoken to a number of AI CEOs and those in leadership positions about what they're thinking about. And robotics is something that comes up a lot. We've seen OpenAI focused on the era of robotics. I've seen at least 3 different types of humanoid robots today alone. One that looks straight out of Will Smith's iRobot, while those robotic looking dogs that we've seen in videos here, there, left and right, those were on the ground as well. They looked a little freaky to me, but it just shows what the mobility of these robotics are. We've seen AI on a software level, but on a hardware level, that's going to be a big impact, as well as seeing how AI develops itself, what they're calling recursive self-improvement. AI models have shown that they can break out of their sandboxes or access the internet in ways that even companies like OpenAI and Anthropic may not have fully grappled with yet. So that's the cloud that hangs over this conference writ large.
There's nothing ominous about that or anything, no.
No, not at all.
But obviously, this is a conference of people who are knee-deep in it. Most of them are true believers. Has there been any discussion of, quite frankly, the downsides that people are grappling with, the just the endless scroll of content, the sustainability issues around data centers and water usage and all the things, in addition to the potential for massive job displacement? Are these things coming up?
I think people recognize that the bubble as it stands now is going to have to morph. One thing that I've seen at many of the booths today at the expo hall is just costs need to come down, because AI does cost money. The companies that were spending it all willy-nilly days and months ago are course correcting. And I think that's something that people are really focused on. How do I bring my token usage down? How do I save some cost? Because they're factoring it into their budgets now. as any line item on a budget for any company, they have to figure out how to keep it under control and balance their balance sheets. And I think that's something that is at top of mind for a lot of these creators. When Scott and I were chatting, one thing I asked him was, what are the risks of AI? And what are the risks of AI's integration in Hollywood? And he acknowledged that anything that impacts creators and the control that they have over their work is a risk, along with what AI slop can do and tarnish for this technology. It is a transformational moment in this industry, both in Hollywood and for the world at large.
Right now, there seem to be a lot of competing visions of the future around AI, and you're all in the thick of it, Corbin. I have no doubt you will come back with a notebook full of contacts and future leads to chase. So thank you for working hard, and let's hope that the air conditioning stays strong for you in Las Vegas, because it is toasty there.
Thank you, Cynthia. I have never felt stronger AC in my life than walking through the conference halls here. And I don't want to guesstimate even this hotel's electricity bill.
As we close out today's episode, here's a few things we're watching for. Well, this sounds like a blast. The Television Academy, as part of its Televerse Emmy FYC event next week, will host an I Love Lucy script reading to celebrate the landmark TV comedy's 75th anniversary. The great Constance Zimmer will play Lucy Ricardo, Wilson Cruz will play Ricky Ricardo, and Justina Machado will be Ethel Mertz. It's all set for August 14th in downtown LA. On Friday, keep an ear out for Daily Variety's companion podcast, Strictly Business. My guest this week is Matt Strauss, chairman of NBC Universal Media Group. We talk about Peacock reaching the profitability milestone and why they did the recent bundling deal for the streamer with YouTube Premium. It's an insightful listen for anyone doing business with NBC Universal, and it will be out tomorrow. We love to hear from our listeners, so please send thoughts, gripes, and other feedback about Daily Variety to podcasts@variety.com. Before we go, congrats to Woody Harrelson. The veteran actor will be honored with the Heart of Sarajevo Award at the 32nd Sarajevo Film Festival, which begins next week. The festival will screen Michael Winterbottom's 1997 drama Welcome to Sarajevo, about the war that tore apart Bosnia-Herzegovina. Speaking of European festivals, back to Locarno. Last year, we featured a clip on Daily Variety of the great Emma Thompson speaking in beautiful Italian. This year, Isabella Rossellini was honored by Locarno. So let's close out this episode with the soothing sounds of a great actress talking in her native tongue.
E ho cominciato a fare questi miei film corti sugli animali e ne ho fatti una cinquantina. Ero un produttore molto, molto sofisticato, che è Robert Redford. Robert Redford era rimasto entusiasta di YouTube, della nuova tecnologia, perché dice si possono finalmente fare dei film corti, come all'epoca dell'inizio del cinema.
Thanks for listening. This episode was written and reported by me, Cynthia Littleton, with contributions from Corbin Bolus. Sticks, Nicks, Hick Picks. Please leave us a review at the podcast platform of your choice, and don't forget to tune in Monday for another episode of Daily Variety.